On the day of my anniversary with Dylan, his childhood sweetheart got into a car accident. He abandoned me and rushed back that night, leaving me alone in the lodge at Willow Retreat. A sudden downpour hit, the lodge lost power, and I was trapped, unable to get down the mountain. Knowing Elijah was on a business trip nearby, I tried calling him. On that torrential rainy night, Elijah drove to rescue me as I was burning with fever. My consciousness blurred, I lay in Elijah's arms. He dialed Dylan's phone, his voice hoarse, and pressed a cool kiss to my feverish forehead. "Don't you want your girlfriend anymore? If you don't, then I will." After watching the sunset at the of the Willow Retreat, the weather suddenly changed, and it started to rain. The rain intensified, so I called Dylan to pick me up. Dylan said he wasn't feeling well, so he hadn't come with me to watch the sunset, staying in the lodge to rest instead. This creek was part of the Vance Estates property, and Dylan and I had come here today to celebrate our 3rd anniversary, which I had looked forward to for a long time. The call connected, and Dylan's cold voice came through. "What's wrong? Come pick me up it's raining. Just come down the mountain yourself. I have an urgent matter right now, so I'm leaving first." I asked worriedly, "What happened?" Dylan sounded impatient on the phone. "Emma got into a car accident. I don't feel comfortable with her being alone, so I'm going over to check on her now." Hearing utter Emma's name, my heart immediately sank. Emma, always Emma. Lately, I kept hearing that name from Dylan. Emma was Dylan's childhood sweetheart, a good friend they'd grown up with. She had gone abroad for high school and only returned recently. Emma was sick and alone at home, so he had to go help take care of her. The lights at Emma's house were broken, and she was afraid of the dark, so he had to go help fix them. Emma got into a fender bender, and he rushed leaving me with only a quick message. "Emma just returned to the country, and living alone isn't easy for her. We've been old friends for so many years, so I should help her out." Dylan spent all his time on Emma, making me, his actual girlfriend, feel like a third wheel. "Dylan, so on our anniversary, you're abandoning me on the mountain and leaving alone?" I challenged him over the phone. "Aurora, be reasonable. Emma's in a car accident and her life is uncertain. Why are you being so dramatic? I'll make it up to you for the anniversary next time, and that'll be it." Dylan's tone on the phone was harsh, yelling at me with fierce intensity. Was I even concerned about the anniversary? The sunset was just an excuse not to watch it with me. Leaving me to go down the mountain alone meant he'd forgotten about me, a living person. The anniversary was meaningless to him. His explanation was delivered with impatience. My asking a few more questions led to him calling me dramatic. A harsh beep suddenly sounded from my phone, and Dylan hung up. Standing alone, a wave of desolation washed over me, leaving me breathless. It took over 20 minutes to walk from to the lodge halfway down the mountain, and the rain was getting heavier. If I didn't descend soon, I'd be trapped at the. There was no one on this Willow Retreat, and vehicles couldn't enter freely. I preferred quiet, so I hadn't brought a driver or housekeeper with me. It would be fine once I reached the lodge. I could stay the night and have a driver pick me up the next day. I ran down the mountain, the rain growing heavier, my clothes already drenched. When I reached the lodge, I found the lights wouldn't turn on. Perhaps because it had been uninhabited for a long time, and now with the sudden downpour, the lodge had unexpectedly lost power. The sky grew darker, and the rain fell more furiously. A sudden clap of thunder overhead made me jump, and my heart pounded furiously. My phone's battery was only at 10%. No, I had to get down the mountain tonight. I wasn't foolish enough to stay alone in this lodge without power or water, just to suffer. In my desperation, I suddenly remembered hearing Dylan casually mention today that his uncle was on a business trip near Willow Retreat. Dylan had originally planned to find time to have a meal with Uncle, but he had already abandoned me and left. Maybe I could ask Uncle to pick me up. Uncle and I had only met a few times at family dinners and exchanged numbers. We weren't very close. But in this situation, I really had no other option. I opened my phone and found Uncle's number, but I couldn't help but worry. What if he was busy with his business trip? Why should he come pick me up? Though nervous, I reluctantly dialed Uncle's number. The call was quickly answered, and Elijah's low, magnetic voice came through. "Aurora, what's wrong?" I cautiously began. "Uncle, I'm stuck at Willow Retreat. I heard Dylan say you were on a business trip nearby. Could I trouble you to pick me up?" "Where's Dylan?" he asked. "He had an urgent matter and went back." There was a 2-second silence on the other end, then Uncle said, "Wait for me. I'll be there in half an hour." It took about 40 minutes to drive from the bottom of the mountain to the lodge halfway up. Elijah arrived in less than half an hour. The Rover was parked in the rainy night, its headlights casting a hazy yellow glow through the rain, outlining the slanted patterns of the downpour. Elijah got out, holding a large black umbrella. In this vast curtain of rain, Elijah strode towards me. The umbrella was slightly raised, revealing half of his sharp, composed, and handsome face. I was momentarily stunned, my gaze slowly unfocusing. Aurora. Hearing his soft voice call my name, I finally snapped back to reality. Uncle. Elijah held the umbrella over my head, and large raindrops pattered crisply on its surface. Let's go, the rain's getting heavy. I followed Elijah, the umbrella tilted slightly towards me. The faint citrus fragrance on him drifted into my nostrils, fresh and pleasant. I got into the passenger seat, and Elijah handed me a clean towel, his gaze not lingering on me. Wipe yourself off, don't catch a cold. My hair had gotten wet when I ran back to the lodge, and my clothes were damp, which I hadn't had time to change. My light-colored clothes, now wet, were somewhat sheer, and my ears suddenly felt hot. Elijah drove steadily down the mountain road. We didn't talk much along the way, after all, we weren't very close. Elijah was Dylan's uncle, and despite being only 28, he had already taken over a portion of the Vance. He was composed, mature, experienced, gentlemanly, and gentle, holding considerable influence within the Vance family. Yet, he hadn't had a girlfriend for years, and the elders were getting anxious. Outside the car window, the rain showed no signs of letting up. My phone suddenly vibrated twice. It was a WhatsApp message, 2 videos sent by a female mutual friend of Dylan's and mine. Both seemed to have been filmed in a private party room, the footage dim and the background noisy. In the first video, Emma was leaning close to Dylan, covering her mouth and laughing. I didn't think he'd actually come. He's out of town today. Someone in the background jeered. Emma failed a truth or dare game and called Dylan, and he rushed right over, worried something might happen to her. What a loyal buddy. Emma leaned shyly on Dylan's shoulder, and Dylan's lips curled into a smirk, seemingly enjoying it. The second video seemed to show Dylan losing a truth or dare game, with the penalty being to kiss one of the women present for a minute. Everyone present was cheering, shouting Emma's name, while Emma herself was still looking down shyly. Dylan took her hand, lifted her chin, and kissed her directly without hesitation. The video ended there, and I felt utterly disgusted. I opened my chat with Dylan and sent only one message. Dylan, we're breaking up. After I sent the message, my phone's battery died, and it instantly shut down. Even my phone's battery seemed to be subtly hinting that my relationship with Dylan was finally over. 4 years ago, Dylan and I met at a party. Dylan was a cynical playboy who enjoyed a flamboyant lifestyle. I wasn't particularly fond of his flirtatious and charming gentleman persona. Later, Dylan suddenly started pursuing me, saying he liked me and would change for me. He patiently pursued me for a whole year, charming and romantic, always trying to please, even when I often gave him the cold shoulder. But I didn't expect him to actually change for me, no longer indulging in games or hanging out at bars with his questionable friends. Having never been in a relationship, I was eventually moved by his persistence and change, and that's when I agreed to be with him. Looking back now, I was too naive, thinking I could truly make a playboy settle down. Perhaps he truly loved me back then, but it was equally true that his feelings had changed now. Did make you angry again? How is he as a boyfriend? Next time, I'll teach him a lesson for you. I hadn't turned the video volume up loud just now, but Elijah must have heard it. Seeing my expression wasn't good, he asked me. I chuckled, feeling relieved. No need. We broke up. What? He was shocked. Just now. Elijah lightly hit the brakes, and the car suddenly slowed. I instinctively leaned forward due to inertia, feeling the seatbelt tighten. I turned to look at Elijah, joking. Uncle, you're not going to leave me by the roadside just because Dylan and I broke up, are you? Elijah smiled apologetically, quickly apologizing. My bad, there was a stray dog on the road just now, so I tapped the brakes. How could I possibly leave you by the roadside? Don't you trust Uncle's character? I laughed, but my head started to feel fuzzy, and my body felt warm. Leaning back in the seat, I drifted off to sleep. In my dazed state, I wasn't sure if it was a dream or reality. I seemed to hear Elijah calling someone. Don't you want your girlfriend anymore? A man's slight gasp came from the other end of the line. Didn't she say we broke up? Elijah was sitting beside me, touched my forehead with his hand, then leaned down to press a cool kiss on my feverish forehead. He lowered his voice, murmuring, if you don't, then I will. When I woke up, I found myself in an unfamiliar bed at a hotel. It was already the next morning. My wet clothes had been changed, and I was now wearing an oversized white shirt and ill-fitting shorts. The room door opened then, and my heart jumped. It was Elijah who walked in, and my heart settled again. Uncle. Elijah set the bag in his hand down, his voice gentle. Feeling better? Last night you had a high fever, and all the nearby general were too far from Willow Retreat, so I found a hotel down the mountain and had your wet clothes changed. Hearing him say that, I was stunned, staring blankly at him. Elijah quickly smiled and explained, don't misunderstand, I had the girl at the front desk help you change. I travel frequently for business, so I always carry some spare clothes. The clothes you're wearing are new, I haven't worn them after they were washed. Did you sleep well? Feeling better now? I felt a little embarrassed, nodding awkwardly. Thank you, Uncle, I'm much better now. No need to be so polite. He handed me the bag. I just went out and bought you some clothes. I'm not sure if the size is right, but put them on first. Later, I'll drive you back to Maplewood City. Elijah finished speaking and left the room. Elijah had bought a white dress, simple and elegant, and it fit quite well. Elijah had thoughtfully charged my phone to full. I opened my chat with Dylan. The last message was the breakup message I sent last night. He hadn't replied. He didn't even care to pretend anymore. I then clicked into my social media feed and saw that Emma had posted an update last night, a photo of her lying in a hospital bed with a bandaged ankle, and Dylan asleep by her bedside. Dylan's hand was still tightly clasping Emma's. The caption read, "Thank goodness I have you." I let out a cold laugh and called Dylan. The first call didn't go through. On the second try, I waited for a long time before he finally answered. Dylan, let's break up. He seemed to have just woken up, his voice groggy. What? I said, let's break up. If your ears aren't working, go see a doctor at the General Hospital. Dylan's voice was harsh and cold, seemingly tinged with interrogation and displeasure. Aurora, is this just because of yesterday's incident? I pressed my lips together, suppressing my dissatisfaction, my chest rising and falling silently as I struggled to control my slightly trembling voice, then spoke calmly. Yes, exactly because of this. A cold laugh came from the other end of the line, followed by Dylan's dismissive and nonchalant voice. Aurora, you're being so dramatic. As soon as he finished speaking, he slammed the phone down. Ever since Emma returned to the country, Dylan seemed like a completely different person. He'd forgotten my birthday, and gifts were mere afterthoughts, bought carelessly. There was no longer any care. His tone of voice had become cold and impatient. Anniversaries were dismissed, as he ran off to be with other women. With him acting this way, there was really no point in continuing our relationship. I was also a pampered heiress born with a silver spoon in my mouth, raised lovingly by my parents. Why should I endure such grievances? I am a college senior studying fashion design, about to graduate, and currently busy with my graduation project. While I was swamped at Northwood University, Dylan was openly flaunting his affection for his childhood sweetheart, Emma. I had Emma's WhatsApp, and every day I saw her showing off the various luxury items Dylan bought for her on her social media feed. That afternoon, while I was busy at Northwood University, I received a call from Elijah. Since he drove me back to Maplewood City that day, we hadn't been in touch. Aurora, are you free tonight? He asked me politely, his voice gentle. I thought for a moment and replied, I don't have anything planned tonight. Do you need my help with something? There's a dinner event tonight, and I need a female companion. Would you mind spending an evening with me to attend? I readily agreed, of course. I haven't even had a chance to thank you properly for what happened last time. I felt really bad for troubling Elijah so much to pick me up and take care of me that day. I had originally offered to treat him to dinner, but Elijah declined, saying there was no need to be so polite. While I was waiting for Elijah at the Northwood University entrance, I happened to run into Dylan and Emma. The two of them were holding hands as they left the school gate, exceptionally intimate. Dylan and I attended the same Northwood University, but we hadn't seen each other since that day we broke up. It was quite a coincidence running into them today. Just then, Elijah's car pulled up right in front of me. He stepped out from the back seat, his figure tall and elegant in a crisp suit. Aurora, I'm afraid I'll be troubling you tonight. He gentlemanly opened the car door for me, gesturing for me to get in. A familiar voice suddenly came from behind me. Uncle, what are you doing at Northwood University? Elijah and I turned simultaneously to look at Dylan behind us, who was now curiously and suspiciously staring at Elijah and me. How are you two together? Elijah told me to get in the car first, then stood in front of the car door. He lowered his gaze, staring at Dylan, his tone suddenly shifting, becoming cold, stern, and intimidating. You don't question your elders. As soon as he finished speaking, he ignored Dylan, turned, got into the car, and told the driver to leave. The atmosphere inside the car became subtly awkward for a moment. Elijah handed me an exquisite handbag. Inside is an evening gown. I prepared it for you, you can just change into it later. I took it. Okay, thank you, Uncle. Elijah's lips curved into a slight smile as he said, since your family engagement with Dylan has been cancelled, there's no need to call me Uncle anymore. You can just call me Elijah. I nodded shyly, my cheeks inexplicably heating up. The name Elijah felt a bit too intimate for me to use. At the dinner party, I linked arms with Elijah and socialized with him. Mature men always possessed a uniquely captivating charm. Elijah introduced me to many contacts, several of whom were influential figures in the fashion design industry. I couldn't help but feel curious and quietly asked Elijah, "Why are you introducing me to so many people?" Elijah leaned in, his warm breath tickling my ear. "Aren't you studying fashion design? Those are well-known mentors in the industry. It'll be beneficial for you to know them." I looked up and met his gaze. His eyes were deep and bright, staring directly at me at that moment. His gaze was too intense, and my heart suddenly pounded. I quickly looked away to compose myself. How did he know I was studying fashion design? After the dinner party, Elijah asked me if I was hungry. The answer was definitely yes, these kinds of dinner parties weren't for eating. After a whole evening of socializing, I hadn't eaten anything but drinks. Elijah took off his suit jacket, leaned back in the car's rear seat, and casually unbuttoned the top 2 buttons of his shirt, revealing a hint of his collarbone. "Aurora, what do you want to eat?" "It's on me." I quickly said, "Uncle, let me treat you to dinner. I still haven't thanked you for what happened last time." A handsome smile formed on Elijah's lips, his eyes as gentle as water. "Didn't you already help me tonight? Now it's my turn to thank you. I'll treat you to dinner." In the restaurant, Elijah and I sat facing each other. He suddenly asked me, "Haven't you considered studying abroad? For your major, studying abroad for 2 years would give you much richer experience." I explained, I originally wanted to, but I was dating Dylan before, and I didn't want a long-distance relationship, so I put the idea on hold temporarily. Who knew we'd break up now? It's probably too late to apply to study abroad this year, and my portfolio isn't ready. I'll wait until next year. I chuckled, feeling a bit helpless. I shouldn't have been so swept up in romance back then, I should have prioritized myself. Elijah served me a bowl of soup, comforting me, "It's all right, good things are worth waiting for." His phone suddenly rang, and he gestured for me to excuse him to answer it. With some free time, I opened my phone to scroll through my social media feed. The latest post was from Emma. A photo of Dylan busy in the kitchen wearing an apron, and another photo of a bowl of porridge on a table, with the caption, "Sick. So grateful my gentleman cooked porridge for me." Forget cooking porridge, it used to be a luxury just to get Dylan to buy me porridge. Indeed, love and its absence were truly obvious. I should have broken up with him sooner. How could I have put up with Dylan for so long? I couldn't help but internally curse myself for being so foolish. The moment I turned off my phone, the screen instantly lit up again. It was Dylan calling me. I didn't want to answer, but I was curious about what he wanted, so I picked up. "What is it?" Dylan's voice on the phone was tinged with doubt and accusation. "Why did Elijah take you to a dinner party?" His question made me laugh. "Dylan, may I ask by what right are you questioning me?" Silence fell on the other end, then he spoke, "Since we've broken up and your family engagement with the Vance family has been called off, you shouldn't associate with anyone from the Vance family anymore." "Dylan, I only broke off the engagement, I didn't offend your family. Who I associate with is none of your business." Dylan's words left me speechless. Before the call ended, my phone was suddenly taken from my ear. I turned around and saw Elijah holding my phone. His voice was low and commanding, "Dylan, you're interrupting her dinner." As soon as he finished, Elijah hung up the phone for me. Dylan can be rude sometimes. Don't mind him. Elijah and Dylan didn't have a close relationship. Elijah had always disliked Dylan's carefree and irresponsible demeanor. "Oh, right, Aurora, could I trouble you to design a custom suit for me?" Elijah changed the subject, asking me with a smile in his eyes. I was, of course, very happy to. I nodded quickly, smiling, "No problem, consider it repayment for when you helped me last time. How about I take your measurements right after this?" I brought a measuring tape with me today. Custom suits needed to be measured close to the body to ensure a perfect fit. Since the timing was perfect today, once I had the measurements, I could start designing immediately. "Let's go to my place then, it'll be easier for you to take measurements," Elijah suggested. After dinner, I followed Elijah to his apartment. He rarely stayed in the large Vance estate, having his own apartment elsewhere. The interior decoration was simple yet elegant, predominantly white, and very clean. I took the measuring tape from my bag. Elijah, let's take the measurements first. It's getting late, and I don't want to disturb your rest. Elijah began to unbutton his shirt, asking me with a straight face, "Do I need to take off my clothes then?" Startled, I waved my hands repeatedly, almost tripping over my words, "And no, Elijah, you don't need to take off your clothes." I stood in front of Elijah. He was a full head taller than me. The measuring tape pressed tightly against Elijah's body. I focused intently on the numbers, not noticing how Elijah was looking at me. I started from his neck circumference, then measured his shoulder width, chest, waist, abdomen, hips, thigh, calf, and ankle. Elijah cooperated perfectly, standing tall and straight. The close proximity allowed me to distinctly smell his fragrance. Today he was wearing a woody fragrance. A blend of sandalwood and amber created a warm and mysterious sensation, as if enveloped in a gentle embrace. The entire measuring process was quiet, with only the soft murmur of my voice as I recorded the measurements. Suddenly, I didn't notice the carpet beneath my feet, lost my balance, and accidentally slipped. Just as I was about to fall, Elijah leaned in and swiftly wrapped an arm around my waist, steadying my balance and pulling me upright. His warm, large palm covered my waist, while his other hand tightly gripped my wrist. Elijah's captivating and handsome face was inches away, his eyes containing a hint of ambiguous desire. My cheeks felt intensely hot, I fumbled, and my whole body stiffened. His voice dropped near my ear, gently saying, "Be careful not to fall." His warm breath lingered by my ear, arousing a tingling sensation. His gaze was too intense, so I quickly averted my eyes from Elijah's stare. My mouth suddenly felt dry, and I instinctively swallowed. Elijah steadied me, asking, "Are you all right?" I am fine," I stammered, my eyes darting away, unable to meet his gaze. "Elijah, I'm pretty much done with the measurements. I'll head out now so I don't disturb your rest." I turned to leave, but Elijah suddenly grabbed me, pulling me directly in front of him. He lowered his eyes, gazing at me. Soft ripples of light shimmered in his deep eyes, and countless emotions surged in his flickering gaze, as if he wanted to draw me into the depths of his vision. "Didn't I say you don't need to call me uncle anymore? You can call me Elijah, or Elijah, either is fine." He tightly gripped my wrist. I tried to pull away but found I couldn't move at all. I looked up at him, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it would leap out of my throat. Then I tentatively said, "J. Elijah." The hand gripping my wrist suddenly loosened, and a smile spread across his eyes. "So obedient. Just call me that from now on." I nodded obediently, my breathing still rapid. Elijah personally drove me back to Northwood University. At the school gate, he extended an invitation, "Let's play golf together in a few days." I hesitated, I might be busy with my graduation project at Northwood University. "You still need to come out and relax, find some inspiration, right?" Elijah had a point, so I nodded and agreed. Only after watching Elijah's car drive away did I turn and enter the school gate. As I neared the residence hall, I felt someone following me. I turned around to look. It was Dylan. Seeing me stop, he also stopped and stood still. "Why are you following me?" I asked, frowning and looking at him with suspicion. He stepped forward, asking me with a questioning tone, "Why are you getting so close to Uncle?" I found it amusing. "Who I get close to is none of your business. Dylan, we broke up. You're overstepping your bounds now." Dylan stared at me with a scrutinizing gaze, then suddenly laughed, unable to hide the smugness on his face. "Aurora, you're not trying to make me jealous and angry by deliberately getting close to Uncle, are you?" His sudden confidence made me laugh out loud. "Dylan, you've got some nerve. Who gave you that confidence? Be with whoever you want to be with. Just stop bothering me." The family had fallen on hard times, and Emma's family background no longer matched Dylan's. He didn't even dare to confess to his parents that he was dating Emma. So he kept it all hush-hush, hiding his affection from his family. It was truly pointless. They say belated affection is worse than worthless, but Dylan couldn't even bring himself to show me any deep affection. His reason for coming to find me today was merely curiosity about why I was getting so close to his uncle. The day Elijah and I had arranged to play golf arrived as scheduled. We had agreed on a time, and he came to Northwood University's entrance to pick me up. Elijah was dressed casually today in a white polo shirt and black athletic pants. This simple outfit already highlighted his excellent physique. After arriving at the golf course, Elijah and I were both surprised to run into Dylan and Emma. They were probably there with friends for a game. I went to the locker room to change. When I came out, Elijah had already made 2 holes in 1. I wasn't very good at golf. Elijah handed me the club. Come on, I'll teach you. Elijah encircled me in his arms, and his pleasant woody marine fragrance wafted into my nostrils. His hands held mine. This teaching posture was a bit intimate, and we were standing too close. I felt a little embarrassed, my cheeks burning. Elijah, perhaps sensing my nervousness, gently reassured me, "Don't be nervous. I'll teach you, take your time." I focused on the club and the ball, but out of the corner of my eye, I caught an intense gaze directed at Elijah and me from a corner. Emma's complaining voice drifted over, "Dylan, teach with some effort. Where are your eyes even looking?" Elijah guided me through 2 swings. "Now you try it yourself. Those last 2 shots were pretty good." I nodded, ready to try it myself. "Beautiful. A hole in 1. Oh my God, did I actually get it in?" I hadn't even processed it myself, asking Elijah excitedly and astonished. Elijah gave me a reassuring thumbs up, nodding with a smile. "Well done." Dylan and Emma, not far from us, also looked over. Emma pouted, her face full of displeasure. Afterwards, Elijah walked over to Dylan and said something I couldn't hear. When he returned, he told me, "Let's have dinner together later. I've invited Dylan too." Huh? I wasn't very keen on going. Won't it be a bit awkward? Elijah took the items from my hand, reassuring me, "With me here, there's no need to worry about awkwardness. Besides, shouldn't Dylan be the one feeling awkward?" The 4 of us arrived at the restaurant. Elijah pulled out a chair for me. Emma looked at Dylan, gesturing for him to do the same for her, but seemed to not notice, simply plunking himself down. "Dylan," Elijah asked, "have you told the family about you and Emma dating?" Dylan was clearly caught off guard by his uncle's question. After a moment of hesitation, he shook his head, "Not yet." Emma, hearing this, grew agitated, throwing down her chopsticks. "What? Dylan, what do you mean? Am I really so unpresentable?" Dylan, not wanting to answer Emma's accusations, said impatiently, "Ugh, why are you complaining? If you keep complaining, don't eat." Elijah finished gathering his things and asked me, "Aurora, are you full?" I nodded, suppressing a smile, "I'm full." Elijah then led me away, leaving Dylan and Emma to argue there. I think I understood the purpose of his dinner arrangement today. Ever since returning from golf that day, Elijah and I had grown a bit closer. During this time, he had been helping me prepare for studying abroad, even leveraging many of his connections. I hadn't even had a chance to ask him why he was helping me so much. The custom suit for Elijah was finished. I checked it thoroughly, found no issues, and personally delivered it to the Vance. When I arrived, Elijah was in a meeting, and his secretary asked me to wait for a while. A moment later, Elijah emerged from the conference room, and a smile instantly appeared on his face the moment he saw me. "What brings you here?" I handed him the handbag. "The clothes are ready. Try them on to see if they fit. Come to my office." Elijah's office was large, even containing a small bedroom. He took the clothes and went into the bedroom to change. The moment he came out, I was truly impressed. It looked exceptionally good, perfectly fitted his body, and showcased his excellent physique to perfection. "It looks great, truly great." Eli Jaw looked at me and smiled, of course, considering who designed it. He was quite a talker, complimenting himself in the same breath. "Are you free later?" he asked me. "Yes, I am." Elijah adjusted his tie. Seeing that he was having trouble, I stepped forward to help him straighten it. "There's a charity auction tonight. Would you accompany me? You can wear the suit you custom made for me. And I can introduce you to some friends, all influential figures in the fashion industry. It will be helpful for you." That last sentence made it genuinely hard for me to refuse. At the charity auction, a pink sapphire necklace was brought onto the stage. I couldn't help but gasp, "Wow." The light hitting the pink sapphire was truly dazzling and special. "Do you like it?" Elijah leaned close to my ear, asking softly. I quickly shook my head. "No, it's just that I think it's quite beautiful." Starting bid, 800,000. Each increment, no less than 100,000. Elijah raised his paddle. 1 million. I looked at him, stunned. Elijah leaned down and spoke into my ear, "If you like it, I'll get it for you." "Don't." 1.5 million. "Do we have any bids for 1.5 million? Elijah gently raised his hand. 1.8 million. "All right, Mr. Vance has bid 1.8 million. Do we have any bids higher than 1.8 million? 2 million. Someone in the hall bid 2 million. I tugged on Elijah, telling him not to bid any higher. There was no stopping him, none at all. Elijah raised his hand, signaling calmly, 2.2 million. Do we have any bids for Mr. Vance's 2.2 million? There were no more bids. The 2.2 million Elijah bid was actually far higher than the actual value of the pink sapphire necklace. 2.2 million. 2.2 million. Still no more bids. The auctioneer brought down his gavel. 2.2 million. Sold. Congratulations, Mr. Vance, on acquiring such a beautiful necklace. I thought Elijah must be insane to spend 2.2 million on a necklace. It's for you. The necklace had been handed to Elijah. He opened the box and offered it to me. I waved my hands repeatedly. Mr. Vance, no, this is too valuable. It's not. I truly didn't dare to accept it, so I found an excuse. I already have many necklaces. Elijah took out the necklace and put it on me. One more won't hurt. You deserve such a precious gift. I looked down, watching the incredibly dazzling pink sapphire necklace settle gracefully around my neck. My heart pounded. Consider it a return gift for tailoring my suit. When you become a famous fashion designer, this suit I'm wearing, made by your own hands, will be priceless. Elijah lowered his head to meet my gaze, his eyes gentle and clear as spring water. He was so smooth with his words that I couldn't find an excuse to refuse. After the charity auction, Elijah called up his friends for another get-together. Mr. Vance, you look so handsome today. Where did you get this suit tailored? It's stunning. Someone asked Elijah where he got his suit made, wanting one for themselves. Elijah pulled me forward and generously introduced me to everyone. Everyone, let me introduce Aurora. This suit I'm wearing today was custom made by her. Isn't it better than what many private tailoring shops offer? He praised me openly in front of everyone, without any reservation. Aurora, would you mind making a suit for me too? I'll pay, of course. Someone proactively asked for my contact information. I was flattered. The socializing ended, and Elijah drove me home. Today, I met many influential figures and veterans in the fashion industry and learned a great deal, thanks to Elijah. Elijah, thank you so much. I don't even know how to thank you. Elijah's lips curved into a smile, and he turned to look at me. Then, Aurora, would you mind making another suit for me? My pleasure. The car had a faint woody aroma from tea. He air freshener, mixed with Elijah's ocean-scented fragrance. The two scents blended, creating a pleasing aroma. Aurora, do you want to be with me? I had been dozing off in the passenger seat when Elijah's sudden words instantly jolted me awake. Huh? What do you mean? Elijah rephrased his question. What I mean is, would you be willing to be my girlfriend? Be my girlfriend? Oh my goodness, was Elijah asking me to be his girlfriend? Elijah. Isn't this a bit sudden? My eyes darted around frantically, my heart practically leaping into my throat, and my words tumbled out incoherently. Elijah pulled the car over to the side of the road and looked at me with serious intensity. Aurora, I'm not joking. I hope you'll consider me. I really like you. Meeting sincere and ardent gaze, I could feel his genuineness. He took my hand, holding it tightly. Will you be my girlfriend? A pang went through my heart, and I nodded. Yes. Then, I reached out and hugged Elijah tightly. A warm kiss then landed on my forehead. Elijah and I officially became a couple. He was coming to pick me up after class, saying he'd take me out for a nice meal. As I walked out of the academic building, I saw Elijah's car parked not far from the entrance. As I walked over, I didn't expect to run into Dylan. He quickly walked up to me, leaning in to ask, My Elijah is picking you up after class again? What's going on between you two? Dylan's eyes held suspicion and scrutiny, making me feel very uncomfortable. Dylan, Aurora, and I are officially boyfriend and girlfriend now. Before I could speak, Elijah, who was standing a short distance away, must have overheard Dylan's question and spoke up to explain. Dylan's face filled with shock, and then he yelled at Elijah. Elijah, you're stealing my girlfriend. Elijah's face darkened, and he addressed Dylan with a serious and cold tone. Let me correct two issues with what you just said. First, when is it ever appropriate for a junior to call their elder by their first name? Second, what do you mean by stealing my girlfriend? At that, Dylan immediately became hesitant and stammered, unable to speak properly. Uncle, Elijah walked over to me and put his arm around me. Dylan, girls are meant to be cherished and adored, not to be taken for granted and played with like you do. That one sentence made Dylan so ashamed he couldn't even lift his head. I couldn't help but secretly feel pleased. Elijah was practically speaking my mind. After found out that Uncle and I were together, he came to find me again. He's 6 years older than you. As if I needed him to worry, fretting about the age gap between Uncle and me. What's wrong with being 6 years older? I like men who are 6 years older. They're mature, not childish like you. I pointed at Dylan and started scolding him. Are you just being spiteful, getting together with my uncle just to spite me? Dylan wouldn't give up. I knew he probably just couldn't accept that his ex-girlfriend had suddenly become his elder relative. Dylan, you think too highly of yourself. Focus on yourself first. Seeing my current attitude, Dylan didn't say anything more and left dejectedly. I discovered that Elijah was completely different when he was in a relationship compared to his usual self. On the surface, he was decisive, serious, and rarely smiled. In reality, he was very clingy and even knew how to be endearing. What are you up to, my dear Aurora? Why aren't you replying to me, babe? As I came out of the academic building, I saw a message Elijah had sent 2 minutes ago. I was just discussing my plans to study abroad with my professor. Elijah, then let's have dinner tonight. I'll pick you up from Northwood University later. During dinner that evening, I was a little distracted. Elijah noticed my unusual mood and asked me, "What's wrong? Something on your mind? Tell me about it. Anything I can solve for you isn't a worry at all." After a moment of hesitation, I spoke up. Elijah, I don't think I've asked you this before, but do you mind that I'm going to study abroad so soon after we just started dating? Elijah and I had just gotten together, but the departure date for my study abroad program was already tentatively set for a month from now. In a month, I would be flying to London to begin my student life. After hearing my question, Elijah looked at me with an affectionate smile. Only insecure men are afraid of a woman's growth. Just go study in London with peace of mind. I'll fly over to see you whenever I have time. You need to be yourself first, and then my girlfriend. He cut a piece of steak for me, placed it on my plate, and spoke with sincerity. I support all your decisions, unconditionally, and I'll give you all the help I can. I'll be there to support you as you steadily rise. Just boldly go after whatever you want to do. Who could refuse such words from Elijah? My nose stung with emotion. Thank you, Elijah. I love you, babe. When I first arrived in London, life was very hectic. It took me a long time to gradually get used to the climate and the food. Elijah's work back home was also very busy, but no matter how hectic, he always made time to call me. There was nearly a 7-hour time difference between London and back home, but this time difference didn't affect our communication. He basically flew to London to see me once a month, and sometimes when he traveled abroad for business, he'd try to route his layovers through London, just to get a chance to see me. Someone who truly loves you will find every way possible to see you, never worrying or thinking about the time difference or the long journey. That day, it was 10 in the evening, and I was drawing designs in my apartment when I suddenly received a call from Elijah. Hello? It must have been 2 in the afternoon his time. He'd told me yesterday that he had a meeting today. What's my babe up to? His magnetic voice came rough the phone. Drawing design sketches. There was a silence of 3 or 4 seconds on the other end of the line. I glanced at my phone screen, it still showed the call was active. Just as I was wondering, a few short words came from the other end. Come downstairs. I want to see you. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.